All right. Hello and welcome to our pop-up event launching HubSpot's native ABM engine. Just some housekeeping before we get started. You will receive a copy of today's presentation after the event has ended. We have opened up Q&A, so please feel free to drop your questions in throughout the session and we will answer them if we have time at the end. If not, we will follow up with you individually. We're going to begin with some introductions. My name is Allie Littman. I am your host for today. I am a principal growth advisor here at New Breed with a decade of experience helping companies grow and scale with the strategic application of technology and agency style services. Joining me today is demand generation whiz Ryder Gordon. Ryder, a little bit about yourself.
Hey everybody, Ryder Gordon. I manage New Breed's internal demand generation motion. I'm excited to be here. I've been a HubSpot power user for almost a decade and super excited about a lot of the new tools they are releasing, particularly today, Breeze and Buyer Intent.
Awesome. So now that we've introduced ourselves, let's chat through our agenda. We have just 30 minutes, and in that time, we're going to take you through how AI has changed the modern buyer's journey and what you should be doing about it. We're also going to introduce you to native Breeze functionality within HubSpot and then teach you how to build your own ABM AI prospecting agent using what's available to you today within your subscription. But before we get into that, quick word on who New Breed is. I know we have a lot of clients joining us today who are familiar with New Breed, so welcome. Thank you for coming to our pop-up session. For those of you that may be less familiar with us, we are HubSpot's top solution provider and one of the longest tenured and most credentialed partners. What drives us here at New Breed is our mission to unlock meaningful growth for our clients. So what that means is that we collaborate with our clients to define what growth means to them and then apply expertise, technology-enabled services to achieve those outcomes through CRM strategy, demand generation, account-based marketing, revenue operations, and more. All right, as promised, let's talk about what everyone here is experiencing. The buying journey is changing, and it's changing fast. The process, how people collect information, the indicators of intent, speed of purchase, expectations for personalized experience, and how trust is built has all been disrupted. B2B buyers today aren't just self-directed, they're AI directed. So on the screen, you can see a before and after, but let's drill into how trust is built as an example. Before AI, you built trust through sales interactions, your blogs, one-sheeters, ebooks, analyst recommendations, referrals. But today's buyers rely on AI summaries. They rely on peer reviews, influencer content, even Reddit. I was just at a marketing event actually where I heard CMOs say that they're replacing Google on their browser homepages with ChatGPT. And we have a lot of research that shows that buyers are doing 70% of their research before they even ever talk to you. Buying committees have grown and they're determining the speed of the evaluation, not you. In fact, Ryder, if you head to the next slide here, you'll see, according to 6sense, the average number of people involved in the buying process is now 10, which creates both more of a complex sales process as well as a longer sales cycle. So to mitigate this, marketing and sales teams need to focus on hyper-personalized content that speaks to the individual buying committee members with the right message at the right time in the right place. So let's look at what this looks like in practice. On the left-hand side, you'll see what we consider to be a best-in-class inbound journey, where a prospect is identified by interacting with your content, and then they receive follow-up with minimal personalization to move them down the funnel towards a buying conversation. Sad to say, but this strategy has been disrupted. On the right-hand side, you can see where we're going. In this strategy, we combine first, second, and third-party data to surround buying committees with the right messaging for their stage in the buying journey. This is what we call account-based marketing, but it is enabled by AI. I also want to call out that you can see a lot of vendors listed here today. This is an example tech stack, not a recommendation, and HubSpot is offering some of these data sources and tooling natively. More on that in a moment. But first, I want to share some key takeaways on what you should be doing about this change. At New Breed, we've been helping our clients think about their buyer's journey in a new way by leading them through exercises that, one, remap the journey to the new ways that your buyers are learning about you, evaluating, and purchasing your products and solutions. Two, identifying the gaps in your process that add friction to their ability to buy from you. Three, zooming in on your tools and your data to understand where they can help eliminate that friction, capture intelligence, and improve productivity. And four, aligning people and process with that technology. So, on the topic of evaluating your tools and data, we've been fielding a ton of questions about what AI tools within HubSpot support an ABM strategy to meet people along your buyer's journey. We're about to shift gears to that, but before we do, I want to emphasize that programming AI requires focus and documentation about your mission, your value propositions, personas, ICPs, etc. So don't skip out on steps one and two. All right, let's talk about Breeze. Last year at Inbound, HubSpot introduced Breeze, which is their suite of native AI tools. There was a lot of excitement and a little bit of confusion as well. And you might have noticed over the past year that Breeze has been popping up all over your HubSpot portal in the form of copilots, intelligence, and agents. So we're about to get into a concrete use case that supports an account-based marketing strategy by stacking these Breeze components on one another to create an AI prospecting agent. Ryder, I'm going to hand it over to you and you can show us how we do it.
Awesome. Thanks, Allie. Okay. So with all of the changes we're seeing in the market today regarding buying expectations, AI in the buyer's journey, and countless new tools and tech that have been hitting the market, we're going to highlight how HubSpot's own Breeze AI capabilities are enabling teams to build an ABM motion that can save demand generation in SDR teams, countless hours of identifying accounts showing intent, building segmented outbound lists, and personalized outreach at scale. So first, we're going to talk about Breeze Copilot. We can think about Copilot as the brain of the operation. Breeze Copilot is where we input all of the information that HubSpot needs in order to deeply understand your business, its mission, and how your products and services deliver value to your target audience. So for this particular example, the information we enter here will be applicable to personalizing our SDR outreach at scale, but Breeze can do more than just writing highly personalized emails. You can leverage this tool to write blogs, social posts, web pages, landing pages, and a whole lot more. All right, so if we pop open our HubSpot settings and we navigate to the AI section on the left and click data sources, the first thing we want to do is make sure that our Breeze brand kit is most up to date. So the brand kit gives HubSpot Breeze direction on your brand identity and will apply this across all of the content we direct it to create. So for instance, we can align our brand's personality characteristics and tone of voice to how our AI sales agent feels and sounds. This becomes important when creating our selling agents because we want to embody how our actual sales team interacts with customers and prospects and make sure that it's uniquely positioned not to sound like a generic AI SDR. So, great. Next, let's talk about setting up our ideal customer profile in Breeze. Each of these profiles help Breeze understand who the specific members of the buying committee we're targeting are and what they actually care about. This allows Breeze to better segment how our selling agents position themselves to these members of the buying committee and deepen the personalization of our outbound email copy. We do this by specifying firmographics like job title, industry, company size, and revenue, as well as what type of value propositions to use for each buying committee member. And last but not least, we need to give Breeze information about our company specifically. This includes our overall value proposition, what pain points our company solves, and the products, services, and benefits we deliver to our customers. So again, all of the information we give Breeze here gets carried over into everything it creates for us. The more descriptive we can be, the better the output becomes. All right, so now that we've quickly covered Breeze, let's jump into what I imagine most people are itching to get into, setting up Breeze Intelligence and most specifically HubSpot's new buying intent tool. So Breeze Intelligence's buying intent tool now allows HubSpot to de-anonymize companies showing both first-party and third-party intent all before someone fills out a form on our website. So HubSpot defines first-party intent as an account visiting our website and third-party intent as someone researching topics relevant to our business, regardless of whether or not they have visited our site before. So when we combine companies showing both first-party and third-party intent, this becomes pretty interesting for demand generation and SDR teams. So for instance, imagine last month I had 5 accounts come to my website and they were all researching bottom of the funnel terms related to my business, but they never filled out a form. So before, I'd have no idea any of that took place, and I'd effectively be leaving pipeline on the table. But now, with HubSpot's new buying intent tool, I know exactly who those accounts are, exactly what intent terms they triggered, and I can automatically notify my SDR team in real time when those accounts meet my criteria. So the first thing we need to do is set up our total addressable market settings. So this tells HubSpot what type of companies we actually sell to based off the industries they're in, where they're located, how big the organization is, and what type of technology they use. So for instance, New Breed only works with companies on or interested in leveraging HubSpot. So that means I can create multiple target market segments, and I can segment my messaging according to whether or not the accounts that are showing intent have HubSpot yet. What's also nice about this tool is it will give me an output showing all of the accounts in HubSpot's network that meet my target market criteria and how many actually exist in my CRM already. So once we've got target market set up, the next thing we need to do is set up the criteria for HubSpot's first-party intent signal website visits. So this allows us to identify and filter companies showing intent based on the number of website visits each account is showing, but also how many unique visitors from that company came to my website. So remember earlier how Ali stated that the average number of team members in today's buying committee is 10? Well, I take that to mean if multiple, let's say, I don't know, 3 unique visitors from the same account are coming to my website, that's an indication that there's a higher chance that I have a buying committee actively vetting my products and services. In addition to that, I can filter by page path as well. So me personally, I'm more interested in alerting my SDR team for accounts that are visiting more bottom of the funnel pages like solutions pages, assessment pages, case study pages, as opposed to just blog posts. HubSpot's visitor criteria segmentation allows for this as well. Great. So now that we've got TAM and we've got visitor criteria set up, let's talk about the newest and my personal favorite update, research intent. So what research intent does is it allows us to find companies researching for topics that matter most to our business. Any company that matches one of these topics, regardless if they're in our CRM or not, and regardless if they have visited our website or not, we can identify them and we can flag them for our team. So for instance, New Breed, we're an elite HubSpot partner. I can now identify all of the accounts in my target market that are actively researching for an elite HubSpot partner. And even better, I can pair this with my visitor criteria. And when I do, I'm left with a dashboard that looks like this. So this is my master dashboard that shows in the past 90 days, I've had 117 companies where at least 3 people from each individual company has visited my website. And someone from that company is actively researching terms that I've deemed important. So when we talk about saving our SDR team hours of manual time, identifying intent, segmenting lists, and building their outreach queue, this is what we're talking about. By configuring the intent tool, my SDR team now knows exactly who they need to prioritize each week, and they feel a lot more confident that the people they're reaching out to are actually interested in exploring solutions that we provide. But we're not done yet. I did mention that we can notify our SDRs in real time when these accounts are showing intent. And we do this using these 5 simple steps that you can build into a workflow in HubSpot. So HubSpot automatically creates these accounts showing intent and enrolls them into our SDR's target account queue. And then we can task our SDRs to go out, source potential members of the buying committee, whether that's through Apollo or LinkedIn or ZoomInfo, et cetera. And then they can start their outreach. So the first thing we need to do, step 1, is to enroll buying intent companies into a workflow. So the buying intent tool actually has its own enrollment trigger that will automatically create these accounts in HubSpot, and then it will automatically enroll them into the below workflow. So once we've got our enrollment trigger set up, the next thing we need to do is tag these companies as target accounts, and we need to set their target account tier based on what level of intent they're showing. So that's up to you. It's up to you how you define, high intent, medium intent, or low intent. But steps 2 and 3 are how we actually get these accounts to populate in our SDR team's target account view, which is important for our next step, enrolling them in Prospecting Agent. So once we've got them tagged appropriately, we need to route them amongst our SDR team. And then I just like to set a task notifying the team member who got the account routed to them that, hey, a new account is showing intent. It's been created. You need to go out and you need to source potential members of the buying committee, create those contact records in HubSpot, and associate them with the account that is showing intent. So once that has been done, once the workflow is set up, we'll actually start to see these companies populating in the target account view in HubSpot, as well as the newly sourced contacts that we've associated with them. So the great thing about using HubSpot's target account tool for this account view is that our SDRs can actually use Breeze to research these companies, as well as research the individual members of the buying committee. Not only does this save our SDR team, hours of time each day just researching tens and tens and tens of companies and buying committee members, it also helps HubSpot's prospecting agent personalize the outreach, not only based on the persona, but it's actually pulling in individual company research and buying committee research into these emails that it creates. And we'll get into that in a second. All right, so that was a lot. But now for the most exciting part, HubSpot Breeze agents. So we're going to talk about HubSpot Prospecting Agent specifically today. This is available with Sales Hub Pro and Sales Hub Enterprise. But HubSpot's Prospecting Agent makes outbound email personalization at scale a breeze, pun intended. All right. Sorry about that. All right, so let's talk about HubSpot Prospecting Agent. So this is actually our SDR team's favorite part about the motion. They no longer need to spend a ton of time each day researching companies and buying committee members. And when they wake up every morning, they have a prioritized queue of intent rich accounts that they can reach out to. And the outbound emails have already been created by HubSpot's prospecting agent. So the first thing we need to do when leveraging prospecting agent is actually set up each individual SDR selling profile. So similar to the information we loaded into Breeze Copilot at the start, we need to give each selling profile the information it needs to sound like a real person and accurately communicate the products, services, and value we deliver to our customers. So each selling profile can have its own unique tone, My favorite is humorous. Its own unique identity and its own unique set of call to actions. So, for instance, if I want my first and second email to share relevant content, and then my third email to try to book a meeting, I can give my selling profile all of that information and those guardrails on what type of content to share, when it should share it within the email sequence, and to whom it should share that information, be it one member of the buying committee or share different content to another member of the buying committee. And just like that, our SDR team can now start enrolling these intent-rich contacts and accounts into Prospecting Agent. And Prospecting Agent will research these accounts, it will research the members of the buying committee, and it will output a 3-touch sales sequence that's like 80% of the way there. As always, what AI is going to output is never perfect, and the emails need a set of human eyes to review, to refine, and take it over the finish line before they actually kick off the sequence. But with the help of HubSpot's Breeze-fueled ABM agent, what we've done throughout this process is we've taken what usually takes SDR teams many hours a day, we've automated it, and we've provided our team with real-time alerts and a queue of intent-rich companies that they can feel confident and frankly excited about prospecting into. All right, so we've got a little bit of extra time here. Before I hand it off to Allie, I wanted to open it up to any questions from the audience. And feel free to drop them in the Q&A if you've got any. Adding buying intent companies to target accounts is tight. Thanks, Riley. It's quite tight. So you need Marketing Hub Pro or Enterprise to get access to the buying intent tool from Breeze, and you need Sales Hub Pro or Enterprise to get access to Prospecting Agent. In addition, there are Breeze credits associated with this, but at those subscription levels, you get a bucket of credits each month. And if you exhaust it, you can just purchase more on top of it. The setting up the workflows themselves, that's a Marketing Hub functionality as well. Yep, we'll send a recording. So the intent tool is actually using Clearbit data from the acquisition that HubSpot made. I'm not sure if Clearbit is actually if Clearbit's using Bombora data, but it's the same concept of Bombora intent signals.
Right, and I think that's a really good point to make as well, is that there are a lot of data sources out there for intent, and many of them integrate very, very well into the HubSpot environment. We're really focused on sort of the native tools today, but certainly there are other sources, indicators that folks are in market that we can bring into HubSpot to launch some of these workflows.
Cool. Nicole will be sharing the recording and the slide deck after the call. All right, so it sounds like we've got most, if not all, our questions answered. I'm gonna pass this over to Allie and let her close us out.
Yeah, thanks so much, Ryder. What a great tutorial. I think one of my big takeaways is how important it is to go back to the drawing board on growth strategy and make sure that you're looking at it through the lens of the modern buyer's journey. Everything that you showed us today about how to successfully deploy a prospecting agent, really you have to be airtight on your segments, like your ICP, persona, firmographics, demographics, and how you're messaging to them throughout the journey, and your signals, so the digital clues that our customers and prospects leave to indicate that they're in market for our solutions. And you really have to have strong collaboration between what sales is doing on one hand and what marketing is doing on the other. I know it seems like a lot, but a good partner can help. So if you go to the next slide here, Ryder, we actually have a special offer for those attending today. We are offering a personalized demonstration of HubSpot's native ABM engine within your environment. So we'll hold a session with you. Our team will show you how to operationalize some of these tools, activate intent data, and scale an ABM strategy using what you already have in your subscription. So take out your phones, scan the QR code. We're so grateful for your company today and can't wait to continue the conversations individually. As a reminder, you will receive a follow-up email with the recording of today's session. I'm going to sign off. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Great. Thanks, everybody. Bye.